front box art shows illustrations of all animals included in the kit. On all sides you find some of the illustrations again. The item number. Here we have the year of release. This is a real old kit. The back of the box includes the instructions and different illustrations than those we saw on the front. The set contains 2 white sprues, and we start with the first sprue. It contains the parts for the mule, the sow, chicken and rabbits. It is a bit difficult to tell, but there's some texture on the mule's parts. It's nicely sculpted. Here's the head. This looks quite realistic. The mule's forehead and ears. The tail. And the mane. Big town gals are all alike. 5 parts are needed to build the mule. Ejector pin marks are only to be found on the inside. This is a rather faint seam line. Keep in mind that the set is 33 years old. Now we come to the sow. Again, the parts are nicely sculpted and there's a light texture. Two parts to make silk purses from. Old man Satan always haunting us. Nesting chicken. Well, I'd like to catch him and I wouldn't give a darn if I plowed him under.
Beautiful plumage.
Yes indeed.
He can't milk, can't even fish, can't do nothing but set it.
And even some eggs.
Some kind of harm. The world would be a better place if it wasn't for
3 little chicks. One was in a hurry and came off the sprue. These are dead rabbits. These rabbits are no more. They have ceased to be. They're expired and gone to meet their maker. These are late rabbits. And now for something completely different. The second sprue contains the German Shepherd, the piglets, the cocks and 2 geese. The dog is really nicely sculpted. Tamiya only need 2 parts to make it. And now for the puppy. According to the illustrations, this should be a St. Bernard, but the face on the actual figure isn't that clear. It's a very small part, and in the 1980s engineering wasn't as advanced as it is today. Still, I would have wished for some better detail. The geese look quite nice. It's a pity that they are identical, because I want to use both of them. And 2 cocks, of which I'll use 1. Don't you dare. The cock's feet. 3 identical piglets. You'll find out soon that this is no problem. As I mentioned, the instructions are on the back of the box, but they're not really necessary. That's why it doesn't matter that the instructions are in Japanese. I had this set a couple of times before and I can't remember any fit issues. As you saw, the seam lines are not overly pronounced and they're easy to remove. I'll give you my final impressions after I build the animals I need.
Ain't very long about a lazy farmer wouldn't hold his corn, and why it was I never could tell, for that young man was always well. That young man was always well.
This is my first kit by the Chinese company Riich, if that's the correct pronunciation. The front box art looks even nicer than that of the Tamiya set.
There came a big frost and all that young
The short sides show the front illustration in a smaller size.
was lost.
The kit was released in 2012. There's one thing that really got me confused, but look for yourselves.
At last the grass and the weeds was up to his chin. The grass and the weeds had grown so high, caused that poor man for to sigh, caused that poor man for to sigh.
And what does that mean? May vary. The possibility of getting completely different animals? The rear shows the front pigs again, this time with descriptions for the animals. Above the piglets I found the word farrow. I looked it up and wasn't able to find it. The only farrow I know is Mia. If anybody knows if that's the right word for the piglets, please let me know. There are two light grey sprues in this set. The first sprue contains the parts for the sow, the piglets, the cat, and Lassie.
Your own cornbread, sing lamb, and will remain for lazy man. I won't maintain.
At first, let's take a look at the cat. The first thing that I noticed was a lot of flesh. You can see it clearly on the sprue. The cat's body is nicely done, but her face isn't much better than that of the puppy in the Tamiya set. 29 years between both sets, and what I can already see is that the Tamiya molds are in better shape. The dog is nicely molded, but the ears are wrong. I'll have to change that when I build the dog for another dio.
Now his courtship was to an end on his
Another example of pronounced seam lines.
I miss I'll have another girl if I have to.
This is the lower portion of the dog's head.
This big white world.
The 5 piglets are smaller than the Tamiya ones, but they have different poses and I guess I can mix them without larger problems. The flesh on such small parts is annoying and you want to work with the greatest care not to cut off any ears or tails. The sow has nice texture and comes in only one part. She's lying on the ground and feeding her piglets. The second sprue contains the sheep family. The wool is nicely molded on all 3 animals. Again we find very pronounced seam lines and it's something I'll never understand. Many new companies release great kits, but when it comes to figures they look like that. Come on, you can do much better. Nonetheless, the ram's face looks very nice. No ejector pin marks to remove. The lamb looks really cute. Of course there's more seam line to remove. Last but not least, the ewe. As I said, the wool looks very realistic. The only annoying thing is the flesh. Her forehead and ears. The instructions look very much like the Tamiya ones we saw before, and that can't be bad. The parts for the piglets are listed because they all look a bit different.
I'm a farmer boy in a country
will have guessed it. There's no conclusion. The impressions I got from the parts are mixed. On one hand, the molds seem to be nice, but on the other hand, you find a lot of flash. That's nothing I really like, especially when you're in danger to remove details if you don't do it carefully enough. I can't say anything about the fit of the parts, so I'll tell you more about it as soon as I build a couple of animals.
Big town gals are all alike. Good in the daytime, but watch them at night. Always a-trapping you with how you hunt. A little bit of loving, but all of your money. They can't milk, can't even fish. Can't do nothing but sit and wish. Always getting into some kind of harm. The world would be a better place.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O.